Let me tell you something that'll make you question everything you thought you knew about Detroit, American cars, and the so-called comeback of the Motor City. Picture this. You're cruising down Woodward Avenue, maybe in a Mustang, a Ram, or a classic Chevy. The radio's humming, the city lights blur by, and for a moment, you feel that old-school American pride. But what if I told you the very policies meant to save Detroit are actually gutting it from the inside out? Sounds like a conspiracy, right? Buckle up, because this ride gets darker the deeper you go. But here's the real twist. This isn't just about tariffs or car prices. It's about how a political win turned into a nightmare for the heart of American automotive culture. And the faces behind it? Not just politicians, but billionaires and executives cashing in while Detroit burns. If you like these kinds of dark automotive deep dives, stick around. I uncover the stuff the big players would rather you ignore. Hit subscribe, because what you're about to hear is just the beginning. Let's set the scene. Remember when Trump slapped a 25% tariff on imported vehicles and parts? The promise was simple: punish foreign competitors, reward American workers, and make Detroit roar again. But wait, it gets worse. The real cost wasn't just dollars and cents. It was jobs, families, and the soul of a city. Imagine you're at the dealership, eyeing your next car, and suddenly every model costs $5,000, $8,000, even $10,000 more, all because of some America First policy. Detroit's big three, Ford, GM, Stellantis, got hit with $42 billion in extra costs. That's like every man, woman, and child in Michigan getting handed a bill for $1,000 just so politicians and executives could claim a win on TV. And here's the part no one saw coming. The stock market tanked. GM dropped 8% overnight, Stellantis nearly 4%, Ford 2%. Billions in value gone in a flash. But the real gut punch, the jobs. While union leaders cheered at first, thinking this was their ticket to a new golden age, reality was brutal. Layoffs started. Plants went quiet. Production lines that once buzzed with life suddenly stood still. It's like watching your favorite car movie in reverse. Everything that made Detroit great, unraveling, frame by frame. But wait, it gets even darker. Let's talk about the people, the workers, the families, the folks who actually build the cars. They were promised security, a future. Instead, they got pink slips and uncertainty.
And for what? So the price of a new car could shoot up, making it even harder for regular Americans to get behind the wheel? Used car prices? Through the roof. Why? Because nobody can afford new anymore, so everyone's clinging to their old rides like life rafts. That reminds me of something else they don't want you to know: the supply chain. Michigan isn't just about the big three. It's about thousands of small suppliers, mom-and-pop shops, the kind of places that keep the whole machine running. Over 1,000 of them faced chaos, uncertainty, and in some cases, total collapse. 1 in 5 jobs in Michigan is tied to the auto industry. When the gears grind to a halt, the whole state feels it. And here's the part no one saw coming: retaliation. Canada, the EU, China, they didn't just sit back and take it. They fired back with their own tariffs, turning Detroit's pain into a global trade war. Suddenly, it's not just about cars, but about livelihoods, pensions, futures. The market went wild. S&P 500, NASDAQ, some of the biggest drops in history, all because of a political gamble. But here's the real villain. It's not just Trump. It's the executives, the billionaires, the lobbyists. The ones who walk away with their bonuses, their golden parachutes, their campaign donations. While Detroit burns, they get richer. The workers, the families, the city itself, they pay the price. It's like discovering your mechanic has been lying to you for years, charging you for repairs you never needed, all while your car falls apart. Let's talk about the future. What happens if nothing changes? Picture Detroit in 2030. More empty factories, neighborhoods hollowed out, the city's legacy sold off piece by piece. The revival is just a memory, replaced by a new kind of automotive apocalypse. Maybe you see the headlines about electric cars and think, hey, we're turning a corner. But behind the scenes, The same people are pulling the strings, and the workers are still left holding the bag. And here's where it gets really sinister. The politicians who pushed these tariffs, they knew the risks. The experts warned them. Local business groups sounded the alarm. But the narrative was too tempting. Bring back American jobs. Who could argue with that? But behind the curtain, the calculations were cold, clinical, and in my opinion, downright cruel. But here's what most people don't realize about this dark truth. The auto industry isn't just about metal and rubber. It's about people. It's about pride.
And when that's stripped away, what's left? Empty factories, broken promises, and a city struggling to find its soul. Now, this is just my dark take, but think about it. Every time you see a commercial about Made in America, ask yourself, who's really benefiting? Is it the worker on the line or the executive in the boardroom? Is it the family in Detroit or the shareholder in New York? Makes you wonder what else they're hiding, doesn't it? Let's circle back for a second. Remember the 2008 bailout? The one that was supposed to save Detroit, keep the factories open, protect the middle class? Fast forward to today, and it's like deja vu. Another crisis, another round of promises, another group of workers left holding the bag. Is this really progress or just another corporate deception? And don't even get me started on the consumer side. You walk into a dealership ready to buy, and suddenly you need a second mortgage just to afford a basic sedan. The sales guy shrugs, blames policy changes. But behind the scenes, it's all part of a bigger game. The rules keep changing, but the winners stay the same. But here's the real twist. Think about the ripple effects. When Detroit suffers, so do the diners, the schools, the neighborhoods. It's not just about cars, it's about the fabric of American life. And every time a plant closes, a little piece of that fabric unravels. Now this is where it gets really sinister. The politicians who pushed these tariffs, they knew the risks. The experts warned them. Local business groups sounded the alarm. But the narrative was too tempting. Bring back American jobs. Who could argue with that? But behind the curtain, the calculations were cold, clinical, and in my opinion, downright cruel. But here's what most people don't realize about this dark truth. The auto industry isn't just about metal and rubber. It's about people. It's about pride. And when that's stripped away, what's left? Empty factories, broken promises, and a city struggling to find its soul. Speaking of that, let me tell you about the real conspiracy. The idea that tariffs alone could revive an entire industry is a fantasy. It's like thinking you can fix a blown engine with a fresh coat of paint. The problems run deeper. Automation, globalization, corporate greed. Tariffs are just a distraction, a shiny object to keep us from asking the hard questions. And here's the part no one saw coming. The folks at the top, they're fine.
The executives, the lobbyists, the politicians. They walk away with their bonuses, their golden parachutes, their campaign donations. It's the workers, the families, the city itself that pays the price. What would you do if you discovered this about your car? Would you keep driving, or would you demand answers? Is this really progress, or just another corporate deception? These are the questions we need to ask, not just about Detroit, but about every promise that sounds too good to be true. Like if you agree this is disturbing. Comment below what you think about this dark revelation. Share this with someone who needs to know the truth, because silence only helps the people who profit from our ignorance. And remember, when Detroit bleeds, America bleeds. And right now, we're hemorrhaging. Subscribe because I'm just getting started. The next secret, even darker than this one.